I'm
Hi, good
Haley.
morning,
And I'm
guys.
Donna.
Nice to meet you. How are
Nice
you
to
this
meet you
morning?
too. Great. What about you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I usually
Okay.
go into work later, so I'm not in my work attire, so don't mind me.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your job in the animal shelter?
So I'm what you would call a rounds manager.
Can I,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
was that?
What is it?
Yeah.
So a rounds manager is basically the person who oversees the overall care of all the animals. So it's my job to check on them daily, make sure any sick animals get addressed by our medical team. Also trying to work towards, making goals of what animals specifically need to get out, whether that's to other organizations like rescues or get adopted. And just overall keeping up with the health of the animals on a daily basis, make sure they're being, well taken care of and that things don't get forgotten necessarily.
Okay, okay. Um, how did you specifically get involved with the animal shelter?
So I've always been involved with animals since I would say was still in high school. My first job ever was working with animals, but I've always worked in different fields. I've been at the animal shelter for a little bit over 2 years now. I was informed about the position at the job where I'm working currently, and I just I love animals, and I was really interested in working in a shelter environment because I've worked in animal hospitals, I've worked at doggy daycares, I've worked at grooming facilities, so I've done a lot of things with animals, but I've never worked at a shelter, so I was really interested in doing that.
Okay. What other jobs like you said you've been in different fields, like what other fields?
Well, so when I first ever started working with animals, I worked at a doggy daycare, where I was the animal care attendant. So I was the person who was watching the dogs while they were in daycare, making sure everybody was playing nicely, cleaning up after them. We also did grooming part time. So I was an assistant groomer. I would help with things like that, front desk work. And then also, they would also offer like dog walking. So I would help with things like that, or when they would do boarding. And then later, after that job, I did a little bit of dog walking on the side, and then I started working at an animal hospital a few years later, and I was there for about 4 years. And then I made my way to the shelter.
Hmm.
What is your favorite rescue story?
Oh. Well, I'm biased, so I would say my favorite rescue stories are my own animals. So I have four dogs and I have two cats. So my most two of my most recent dogs, the first one I brought home in October 2025. She came in as a puppy, who unfortunately needed to have a leg amputation from neglect that she was experiencing. She had a broken leg that had to be casted. So she had to wear a cast for a few weeks, and unfortunately, her previous owners they left the cast on too long to the point where her leg became to become necrotic. So they ultimately had to amputate the leg. So she has three legs now. But she's otherwise okay. She's happy. She's healthy. She gets by, with her three little legs. And then right after I adopted her, we had another dog that came in that was left in its home without food and water for over a month. So the dog came in very emaciated, which normally means dogs are super skinny. You can see their skin and bones. And I had to nurse him back to health. So he's currently in foster with me, but I'm planning on adopting him once I get him neutered. But those are my favorite.
How can people support their local shelter?
Um, I think the best way to support local shelters is volunteering, donating supplies, adopting, spay and neutering your animals. I mean, it's very important. In our shelter, we see a lot of animals end up there when people don't spay or neuter their animals, and then dogs have puppies, and it's hard to care for one animal, let alone six or seven or eight. So I think spay and neuter is very important to help decrease the amount of animals in a shelter because it forces people to adopt from a shelter as opposed to breeding. But also, just yeah, adopting, donating supplies. Right now, our shelter is under a quarantine because we had a sick dog come into the shelter, and a lot of the dogs who are in quarantine areas can't really walk outside. They have to be isolated in a certain area to avoid the spread of illness. And the biggest thing that has helped has been people, donating things and donating treats and toys, stuff that we can use to keep them busy, while they're in quarantine. So I think donating is also very important.
Okay. And how can people help to support the animals?
Generally speaking, just adopting, instead of shopping, and just spreading awareness about animal welfare. I just think that a lot of people don't know, just how tough it is right now. We always say when we have people call, we have more people who are looking to bring their animals to the shelter than there are people looking to, take animals from a shelter. A lot of people want to get, animals from breeders, and a lot of times those animals end up right back in the shelter. So, just adopting, well, honestly, I think it saves a lot of lives.
All right. Thank you for your interview. Thank you for your time. Uh,
No problem, no problem.
it
Thank you
was well
guys so much.
appreciated. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I appreciate your guys' time very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. I hope you guys have a good day, okay?
Thank
You
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 too.
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 Bye.
Bye bye.
All right. We'll talk soon.